Don't drop it. 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 Tell me you're recording this. This is risky. Oh, shit. Hello and welcome back to the YouTube channel. MFJJ here, podiumarcher.com. Building a Lift X33. Now, I had built a bow with the intention of using it in my Mexico hunt before this bow came out. And this new tuning system was so intriguing to me that I feel like I need to use this bow instead. Plus, in all the testing I did on it, it ranked better or equivalent to the other bow that I was going to use. So I've decided to build this bow for you at home so you can check it out and see what you think. This tuning system is freaking awesome. Like they've really left no stone unturned. They alleviated this little spot right here in the riser that always grinds on my thumb knuckle to make me feel more comfortable in my hand. It doesn't rub. Like they answered all my gripes, so it's kind of hard for me to not use this bow. It has the MX2, which I have never personally hunted with. I figured it's already on there. I'll go ahead and use it and see what I think. We're gonna put a Low Pro detached quiver on it, my Podium stabilizer in green, my offset bar, and the pièce de résistance. New fancy, super bougie, Ultra View Matthews $700 sight here. Well, I'm gonna put that on there and give it a whirl. They're sending me an insert to throw in here because I really prefer a vertical pin, and this came with the 5-pin on it, but it does pull right out and replace, so I can go ahead and sight it in off the middle pin. I should be able to swap it out and still get it done in time. The movement of this sight's just so clean. They added a 0-stop, dual indicator needles, rechargeable light kit that you can pull out when you're hunting in states that don't allow you to use a light, and reassessed the fibers to make sure they were still bright, and did really a way better job on the first, second, third axis leveling system here. That I'm going to give this a whirl and might as well throw it on here and see how it goes. It'll give me a month or two to get used to it. They really improved this sight a ton from Ultra View, and you can only get this from Matthews for I think like the next 6 months or something like that. So yeah, that's where you got to buy it. So I'll throw that in there. It's already had a rest on it, so I'm just going to leave it on there. I did choose to put the new one of the new grips on there. I believe that one's called the Contour. I'll give that a whirl, see how it feels. I do like it better than the stock Engage grip. I started getting picks again at elk on my property, and the season opens in like 5 days, I think. What's the day today? It's Tuesday, 6 days. And I had a bow ready for that, but I'm just really impressed with this bow, and I wanted to use it for it. It's hard. I know I probably show it a lot in the videos and whatnot, but I'm always really busy, and my life's constantly getting busier with all these things that I'm doing. I never intended to be doing, content like this, and my life was already busy before that, running a shop. But I'm fortunate to the point that I have really good people in place. Doug and Justin both take care of my pro shop and my online store to where I don't have to be very involved, and I'm grateful and fortunate for them. Shout out to Dougie Fresh and Dirty Grimes. You guys take care of everything for me. I really appreciate it. And it does allow me to get away a little bit more than I used to. It's still hectic, and a little teaser in this video, I'm going to be announcing something that's going to make my life way more busy than it already is, which we'll announce soon, just not yet. And hopefully it's a great thing, and hopefully it doesn't put me in the grave. But fortunately, the property that I've been working on and cultivating for the last 5 years is 2 years in a row. Looks like late season is going to be really good, and I'm super excited about that. I'll get to spend some time with my buddy Nick Donner. I still am strongly gearing most of the things that occur in my life around being able to go hunting and provide good, organic, clean meat for my family and myself, and hopefully prolong my life a little longer by that. And there's a sense of satisfaction that you take away from from hunting an animal and then eating it that you can't replace. Like if you haven't ever done that, which I'm sure there's some people watching this video that are just trying to learn archery, if you haven't actually gone out and hunted something and killed it and eaten it, I can't describe what the sensation of that feels like, but it was the way we were intended to be, in my opinion. So I do everything I can to still live my life in that way. So I'd love to see comments down below talking about the success you've had this year hunting and the trips you've gone on. I know you can't put pictures on there, but just a little shout out to, hey, shot a 4-point or 8-point buck. That's probably what you say. I've learned how to Eastern it or Southern it. It's just, it's a great time. Just getting out, getting a little separation from work and life, and trying not to look at your phone for 3-4 days, which can be a challenge. This life has become so overwhelmingly busy, honestly. And I think people can really benefit a lot from taking a step back more often. We slow down a little bit. We're going too fast, and I'm guilty as hell. I'm a terrible example of that. I'm always going too fast with too many irons in the fire, and really do need to take a step back at times, and hopefully you can heed my words if I don't follow them myself. Okay, let's get this sight level. I'm probably going to move the pins either side of the housing, so I'm just using the middle pin for now until the other insert gets here. My buddy Chris down at UltraView assured me he'd ship me a pin before this Friday so I can still get it sighted in. For those that have access to it, a lab radar is super handy for being able to get your stuff set accurately. It's really hard to beat, and that precision cut program works awesome. Can't recommend it enough. There's been a lot of work that's gone into that program, and if you're sighting in a movable sight, you can really dictate and manipulate whatever you want. Gosh, these pins. My eyesight's starting to get really bad up close. I am struggling to see in this realm right here. So I don't know if you can see that, but I'll pull it out. But I'm moving these pins because the one in the middle is fixed in the middle. So if you were to pull your insert out and stick a different one in, it's going to line up the same. So I can actually sight this bow in off of that pin and then put a different insert in it and get the same result. And because I'm dealing on short time, I need to be able to do that. I think we're a little off. Just a little bit, so I need to tweak that. And that's right here. Not only is it have an actual adjustment, it's also micro adjustable, which is really slick. Yeah, it's a very simple leveling system. Just loosen the screw, twist the screw, tighten the screw back up. She's level. So simple. I mean, they've done a great job with it. I cannot criticize. Like, if you're coming at UltraView now for what they're making, the differences they've made in that site, you're literally coming at them about money and nothing else. And I get it. It's expensive. It's $700, but Night Force rifle scopes are $3,000. You get what you pay for. So we did a wheeling tuning video with this system, and I'm thinking maybe because of my personal preferences of how I like to do things, I'll show you. I like to check them at full draw. That's my preference. So we'll give you some shots of that here in a second, but I'm going to get it back in the drawboard so you don't have to listen to all the noise of it doing that, and you can check that out. We got a good comment in the video we did about how this system works that we didn't actually show how much like a quarter turn moves your alignment at draw. So I went ahead and set this thing back at full draw and matched them up and made sure they were right. So we'll show you that the laser aligns with the cam perfectly on either end on this. Okay, so that's just right in line with your cam groove. And then this one, which mind you, I had to adjust these differently than each other to get to this point from where it came from originally, but we've dicked with this bow quite a bit, so it's probably a little off. So once you've done this and gotten them to where they're equal to each other, all I would recommend from this point, which mind you, this is just a recommendation, and my buddy T-Bone actually FaceTimed me like an hour ago and asked me, hey, are you saying you have to move them equal to each other? You do not have to move them equal to each other. When a bow system like this has the ability to finitely tune it, I would strongly encourage you to do the exact same on the top as the bottom and just do smaller amounts. If you have a shim system or a top hat system or stuff that isn't threadable, you can move one cam and not the other one. It's not mandatory. It's just ideally you would keep them the same so the wheel lane looked about the same, because when you're moving one, you're changing the string groove and you're not changing the string groove equally on the other one, so you might get a little bit of whip on your string. If you can move them equal, do it equal. There are instances where you're only going to move one, and that's usually when there's not a lot of adjustment in the cams. So just part of the deal. You don't have to move them the same equally, but I would strongly encourage it if you can. Down we go, and time to shoot one of my arrows through paper. Now the screws are not in there. You do not need to leave the locking screws in there while you're tuning your bow. Feel free to move them, however. And I will make another video with this at some point when we're trying to tune broadheads, so I can show you how to make the adjustments of that to change your broadhead impact point without changing your field pack impact point. Okay, so we have a point right, knock left tear. So I'm going to bring this toward me. Bring the cam toward me if I remember right. I might have said that backwards. We'll find out real quick. Probably about a half a turn. And about a half a turn. We'll see if that gets it, and then we will put it back in the draw board so you can see where that moved the laser at draw, since that was requested. Ooh, I went the wrong way. I got worse. Other way. Yeah, my bad. That's wrong. I totally moved that the wrong way. So I moved the cams to the right. I meant to move them to the left. And it did. Just like magic. That's a clean enough tear. I would want to shoot a broadhead and see where it goes. You probably could finitely tweak that just a tiny bit if you really wanted to get critical with it. But the reality of it is, especially with this system, I'll shoot a broadhead in a field point and make it move around. I don't have enough time to make an elaborate video on filming that right now, but I will do it at another time. But that's, if you get that close, which you can see it in the B-roll, that's plenty close enough to start shooting broadheads. So, and it was that simple. And we'll pull it back in the draw board and see what the wheeling looks like now. So this ended up being just off the right-hand side of the edge of the cam, just barely. So it didn't actually move it very much, believe it or not. So this was like dead center of the cam, and now it's just off the right-hand side of the cam. It's just off the right-hand side of the cam. It's touching it. That's where you see that light kind of reflecting off. And you can see the dot coming back there. It's just hitting this edge right here. So it only moved the position that much with the laser. And that was about a half a turn, the correct direction, because I moved it the wrong way first. And a half a turn, how it was explained to me at Matthews, is a full turn is 20 thousandths of movement, or is supposed to be about 20 thousandths of movement, or one top hat. So that tear moved at least a half of an inch on 10 thousandths. So you'd have a really hard time getting an exact tear without moving your rest left to right if you couldn't micro-tune drive that. And as these limbs get shorter and shorter and shorter, the little bit of movement on your cam is going to drastically change its wheel lane. So almost every manufacturer is going to be forced to try to find some kind of solution like this, or moving your top hats is going to be too big of a move. Whether it's a top hat or a spacer or a shim or a clip, it's the same thing. As the limbs get shorter, those position movements are going to be greater for small changes. So this is awesome. Okay, so we've got our loop set with our arrow rest, our bow is tuned, our sights level. The next thing I would probably do here is put the quiver on, and then put the stabilizer and the offset bar on, and then we can set the peep. But before I get any farther, how I like to set the length of these, which, mind you, I typically don't use the QAD, but I'm going to give it a whirl this time around since it's already on the bow. Give it a fair shake. The newer version, the tolerances internal are quite a bit nicer than they were, so I'm going to mark this with a silver, then pull it through so I know where the edge of the cord should be. And I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to tie a knot in it and cut it. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but now when you see where my little silver mark is, it lines up exactly where it was. And another little thing I'd love to see down in the comments: which tack should we go to this next year? I know there's a bunch of you out there that probably went. I'd like you to post down in your comments what your favorite one was. Which one did you like the best? Which one seemed to do the best job? Going to try to go to at least 3 or 4 of them this coming year, and on the feedback of you guys will help determine which ones we're going to go to. So what I'm trying to find here, and this ironically happens to line up really good, is I'm splitting the knuckles on my hand on my jawbone and putting the tip of my nose on the string lightly and seeing the entire housing around the peep without having to move my head out of this position that's comfortable. That happened to just line up perfect, and I don't need to change it. If you're setting a peep like that, do not fire it, because it might go flying out of the string. So as I near the finish of this bow build, I would like to comment on there: please support your local pro shop. They need you, you need them. It's a relationship you have to develop if you want to have a good opportunity to really grow in this sport. Unless they're just, terrible, horrible. I know there's some out there. First of all, I'd ask that you give them another chance if you feel like they didn't do a good job, and go at it with an open mind. I know that's not easy, but please give them an opportunity. I don't want the pro shop's business. I want the online business. I want your business only if you're going to buy it online. Then I ask that you go to podiumarcher.com for all those archery needs. $99 and up is free shipping, and coupon code MFJJ can save you a little money. All right, now that I got that done, this bow's dialed and ready to go. I just need to sight it in, and I'm going to use precision cut for that. And I'm going to use my lab radar to get my velocities and get that downrange trajectory, which I can't emphasize enough to everybody. It's really the right way to sight in a movable sight. It does a phenomenal job. I've used it a lot, and it's never steered me wrong. If you put good data in it. If you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. Good data has to go into one of those programs, and that's where the lab radar comes in, because it gives you really good data, because that thing does actually 100% work, and it works well for archery. But this bow's ready to go and dialed, and I'm super excited. Follow along on my Instagram, because I will post if I manage to kill that bull that's on my property, and the buck that I shoot down in Mexico. Hopefully, you'll be able to catch a look at that too. So thanks for watching.